Welcome back. Rock and roll DJ, NASA veteran, author, and entrepreneur. Democrat Dayna Steele knows a little something about breaking barriers, and this fall she's doing it again as the first woman ever to run for the seat representing the 36th Congressional District. Dayna Steele, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get to your top priority, health care.
Health care.
You advocate Medicare for all. Why, and can America afford it?
You know what? I'm like a lot of people. Several years ago, I was like, absolutely not. But I started to look at it. I started to research it. And fast forward to today, our very own federal agency that oversees Medicare and Medicaid says that is going to cost us $43 trillion over the next 10 years. And that's not covering everybody. And then you look at the Mercatus study, which is a conservative think tank. They've even changed their mind. They said Medicare for all is going to cost $36 trillion, a lot less, for over the next 10 years, and it will cover everybody. And if you bring it down to, I'm a mom. I am a mom, and healthy is cheaper than sick. When your kids are healthy, you can go to work. When you're healthy, you can go to work. Healthy people work, they create opportunities, they pay taxes, they give back to the community. Everything to me goes back to health care, and I've seen it again and again, and that's probably one of the main reasons I decided to get in this fight. Okay.
Nothing more important in CD 36 than jobs. You say it's time to nearly double the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Explain your position.
Wages have not kept up with inflation. For example, $1,060 a month is not considered poverty in this country. When the average rent is $500 a month, that leaves what? A little bit less than $20 a day for food, expenses, utilities, transportation, health care, which is just, off the charts again. So we've got to keep up with that. We are keeping people in poverty. And my husband and I started giving laptops to high school students trapped in poverty about 4 years ago, just as a give back. What I didn't expect is that 350 laptops later, every single one came with a story. And there was so much poverty involved with this. And what I saw is there's this huge opportunity gap, and a lot of that is created with this wage gap.
Hey, look, on the issue of education, you say it's time to make community college and job training, effective job training, absolutely free. That's a big investment. Why do you think it will pay for itself?
Because our 19-year-old son, just went through a community college program as a part of the Clear Creek Independent School District. It's called Early College High School. A lot of high schools are adopting it. And I wish we could do this all over the country. I watched it happen with my own son, who was fortunate enough to win the lottery and get into Clear Horizons. And he got a free community college education. He graduated with an associate's degree and a high school diploma. He had internships. He could have chosen to go right into a job. Instead, he wants to go finish a 4-year college. But it's been proven again and again and again that community college graduates put almost 40% back into the economy in working, taxes, consumables, and it can be done. I've seen it, and what is the old, you got to spend money to make money? It puts so much more back into the economy, and again, you break that poverty, that generational poverty that's sitting there.
CD 36 is home to a huge array of refineries and petrochemical complexes. In fact,
I know, I live downstream.
Critics have called it the carcinogenic coast. We hear from the Trump administration we need less regulation. I'm guessing you think we probably need to bear down on the possible polluters. You know
what? First of all, I hate that name because I do live there. And for the last 15 years before I got into this race, I was working with oil and gas and petrochemical companies, a good majority of them doing media training, crisis communication training. And I can tell you for the most part, almost every company down there are good. They live in our neighborhoods, they live in our communities, they go to our schools, they drink our water, we all breathe the same air. So for the most part, these companies are good. They are good neighbors. But then you have a few like Arkema who take advantage of the fact that they are deregulating. And I'd like to point out that regulations is another word for protections. These are people protections. And as my mom used to say, there's always going to be at least one bad apple in the bunch. In our case, it was Arkema. We may have a few others. Again, for the most part, these are good stewards of our community, but we've got to make sure that regulations are in place. There are companies that don't mind these regulations because they know it's all about safety and making sure that we aren't breathing and we don't keep up with such a horrible, I'm not even going to say the name for the coast. I don't like that.
Okay. Hey, look, in Texas, there's no bigger issue than immigration and border security. Your opponent and the Trump administration advocate a border wall and a zero tolerance policy for much of immigration. What's your view?
We need stronger borders, but it's not just the southern border. It's all of our borders. It's everybody flying in. What we need is a better use of technology. We need to use our intelligence. People are flying in and we lose track of them. People are coming across seeking asylum. We lose track of them. That's where we need to be spending our money. I have several friends who work in international relations and international security, and they said a wall, people are just going to scurry over it and under it like ants. It is a waste of money. It is taking land from people. It's going to create flooding. It's going to hurt the wildlife down there. The environmental studies are off the charts on this. What we need to use is intelligence and humanity. I was speaking a few months ago with Stan Merrick, Merrick Brothers, a huge construction company based here out of Houston. And he's a lifelong Republican who says we need much better immigration policies. He can't find workers. So we need to look at the temporary visas. We need to look at the permanent specialty visas. We are losing workers. We are also not using our humanity. There's never been such a clear difference between me and another, me and my opponent. And that is, if you believe babies belong in cages, vote for him. If you believe babies don't belong in cages, vote for me. It's wrong. We're humans.
Dayna Steele, trailblazer, thanks for taking the hot seat. And I hope you'll come back.
I will.
All right. Up next, a trial balloon for a potential blue wave in Texas crashes and burns in the Alamo City. What is the Republican conquest of a Democratic state Senate seat? Tell us about the election to come. Stay with us.